Now, a lot of times in life, our biggest goals are marathons. They're not sprints. I want to give you reasons and excuses to celebrate along this journey. Hey, my name is Jenna Kutcher, and I am obsessed with all things business, marketing, numbers, and helping you to navigate both the messy and the magical seasons of this thing called life. I'm a small town mama who took a $300 camera, grew a successful photo biz, and now I work from home and run a 7-figure online business. I teach you the tried and true secrets to building a career you adore. Shy away from the real talk? No way. Money, hardship, growth, loss, and marketing are all topics we discuss here. Think of this as your one-stop shop for happy hour with a gal pal mixed with business school. Pull up a seat, make sure you're cozy, and get ready to be challenged and encouraged while you learn. This is the Goal Digger Podcast. The other day, I was getting a massage, something I have deeply missed in quarantine, and the masseuse was educating me on my body and what different areas show. And she was telling me about how the right side of my back is this masculine side, that get things done type energy, and the lower left back is the feminine side, the creative dreamer side. And just learning that, it stuck with me. In fact, that night I got home and I wrote pages of notes on the topic and how we find that balance of ideation that leads us to actually getting things done. It's like this balance of masculine and feminine energy that we might be struggling with. I mean, does anyone else just love the feeling when you get this new stroke of inspiration and it hits and the creative juices start flowing and your feminine side is alive and suddenly you have a brand new exciting goal on your mind that you cannot wait to get after? It can swoop in as a result of so many things: conversations with friends, seeing someone else doing something that sparks excitement in you, a massage apparently, or even a commercial on TV. But after that buzzy goal inspiration hits, next comes this other feeling that you're probably familiar with. It might feel like dread. Because as much as we all want big things and lofty accomplishments for our futures, the actual getting to accomplish that big thing is often more overwhelming than just dreaming it up. The steps it takes to bring our largest goals from idea to reality are usually many, and they're often time-consuming, so much so that most people stay in the idea phase, that feminine energy, because they're not sure where to start with taking action or how to tap into their masculine side that can help get things in motion. I'm sure you know there are just about 1,000,001 pieces of advice out there for setting and achieving your goals. And I don't know about you, but I'm still always fascinated to hear the different approaches and methods that people have for finding success with the starry-eyed dreams we dream for ourselves. Maybe it's the achiever in me or the Enneagram 3, or maybe it's just the curiosity that's always existed inside of me. As humans, I think that we're designed to always want more and to be on to the next thing and keep striving for purpose and accomplishment. And while that can sometimes come at the sacrifice of living in the present or finding joy in the in-between, I also think that yearning for something bigger and more can be a good thing if you can approach it with the right mindset and practices. I personally love what James Clear has to say about goal setting in his book titled Atomic Habits. And in fact, surprisingly, he says he's not much of a goal setter. Instead, he urges you to focus on the systems that best bring your goals to fruition. Clear says it like this: goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. And that really resonates with me. See, I didn't necessarily set out on my entrepreneurship journey with this goal to lead thousands of entrepreneurs through processes to build their businesses and reach larger audiences. In fact, that whole idea wasn't even on my radar. I was recently talking with a friend and work came up and she had this aha moment. She looked at me and she goes, "Whoa, Jenna, you never really planned this whole thing. Along the way, you just learned and it started to fall into place, but you never started with all of this in mind." She was so right. I didn't plan this, but as I was creating and doing, I was building these systems of my own that worked. And once I got myself results, I began sharing and teaching those systems to others, which led to my own growth and path towards success in leading others towards greater results as entrepreneurs. Unknowingly, I was focusing more on the processes and systems that worked versus shooting for a random goal and hoping I hit it. And I was refining those processes and systems to make them as effective as possible, eliminating steps or actions that didn't yield actual results, and nailing down the exact way to achieve the goal that I had in mind. Those systems, those were what led to significant business advancement, a growing social media reach, partnerships, and experiences I could have never dreamed to put on my list of goals at the beginning of all of this. Those systems led to accomplishments that weren't even on my vision board because I didn't even know they were possible. Here's the truth. It really doesn't matter all that much what your big goal is, whether it's to train for a marathon or start your own online business or make 6 figures this year or write a children's book or something in between. I think we've all experienced this desire to do something important, and then we've had no clue where to start or what to do first. That's why James Clear urges you to almost completely stop focusing on the big, shiny, often overwhelming end result by itself, because that thing, whatever it may be, is what holds us back more often than not. Let it be a guide, but focus more on the small daily steps and actions to get you there, because that is what will change your life. The only way to actually achieve your goals is to build systems that propel you towards them every single day. Today, we'll talk about how to build these systems so that you can achieve any lofty goal you might have on your heart, whether it's for work, your family, your finances, or something personal. And more than that, we'll talk about how to create habits that reinforce your system. So achieving a goal isn't just this one-time thing, but it's a life-changing thing that sticks around and makes you better long-term, not just on the day you get to check off that goal. So let's dive on into the actionable steps. Primally Pure is my go-to natural, non-toxic skincare, and it's changed the game for my skin. Not to mention, I can actually pronounce the ingredients. For 10% off your Primally Pure order, go to jennakutcher.com/skincare. Ready to start or grow your email list with a female-founded email service provider doing email marketing right? Start a free 30-day trial plus get 50% off your monthly subscription at jennakutcher.com/flowdesk. That's jennakutcher.com/FLODESK. I'm about to contradict myself for good reason, so stick with me. Step number 1 is to name your actionable goal. So even though I want for you to focus less on the goal itself and more on the systems it takes for you to get there, it still helps to know where we're going. You want to have some sort of way to name that thing that you're in pursuit of. Think of it like this, like a road trip. You have this destination, but you get to choose the route, the stops, the snacks, what you listen to, and how the road trip is going to go on your way there. That is the process on the way to the goal, but you need to know where you're heading in order to build a process or system that makes sense. A lot of people, myself included, talk about SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-bound goals. These are the kind of goals that I set when I want to get super clear on where I'm headed and for those bigger objectives that are so finite. SMART goals are definitely fabulous for everyday goals, but for the purpose of attaining our biggest, juiciest goals, I want for you to focus on the A in SMART, on making your goals actionable. So that means focusing on doing rather than being or becoming something. Instead of saying that you have this goal to be healthy, you could say your goal is to live an active lifestyle, get 8 hours of sleep each night, move your body for 30 minutes a day, and eat whole foods that fuel your body. Or instead of saying, I want to become a millionaire, you could say, I want to build a 7-figure producing business through one-on-one services, group coaching, and online resources. Putting verbs and actions behind your goals rather than just titles makes it so much easier for you to break them down, to add in the details that'll support that goal, and to build the systems it'll take to get you there. While you're focusing on the actionable aspect, I want for you to go a step further too and root your goal down to a why. Why is it that you want this thing to happen or come to your life? What's the purpose behind it? What would it mean for your personal or professional or family life? Why is this important? Getting clear on your why can sometimes find underlying desires or the real root of what you believe will be true if you achieve that goal. And in that, it might actually reveal different paths that you could take to get there. So really ask yourself why over and over again to get to the heart of that goal itself, and then write down your why with the goal so that you have something deeper to connect with when life gets busy or your schedule gets insane or distractions threaten to throw your goal off course. Make sure you get absolutely crystal clear on your goal and your why before moving on to the actions, habits, and systems it'll take to get you there. Step number 2, break it down into milestones. You're like me, right? And you probably have these dreams that are lofty and massive that require a lot of work and more than just a few action items. One of the greatest forms of procrastination is when we dream up potential problems that may keep us from even trying to take imperfect action. The tough part about big goals is finding ways to make them less overwhelming. Can I get an amen? So as you're considering the end result, I want for you to also pick out 3 to 5 main milestones or markers to hit along the way. I want to give you reasons and excuses to celebrate along this journey. Now, a lot of times in life, our biggest goals are marathons. They're not sprints. So break up that giant goal into a few little milestones that will prove to you that you are taking action and making things happen. These can look like anything that tracks your progress forward in what look almost like chapters. So if your goal is to run a half marathon, your milestones might be 1, create a running and training schedule. 2, plan out when and where you'll do your runs. 3, start your training program. 4, run a certain mileage. And then 5, eventually do your race. When you have these pieces along the way to check in and to check them off, it doesn't feel so big or all-consuming as this impossible, massive thing you've never done before. And it helps for you to keep pace knowing that you're progressing and that your actions are leading to results along the way. Step number 3, build systems to maintain consistency. Now that you know the big end picture and the general steps or milestones it'll take to get there, you can begin to create systems to support your forward motion towards a goal. Systems. I love the word systems. It is just so sexy to me. Like, I am a highly systemized gal. I thrive on systems. So let's say you're an entrepreneur who wants to take your side hustle and make it your full-time business in the next 12 months. That's your goal. And your system might be to test new offer ideas, to hire employees or contractors to execute your plans at a faster rate, to run smart marketing campaigns. You'll find that the results you get have less to do with the goal itself and way more to do with the plans and systems you set up and follow consistently. The real way to win or achieve your goal is to practice getting better every single day. 3-time Super Bowl winner Bill Walsh said that the score takes care of itself, meaning that when we're focusing on small practices that build strong habits, we'll win when we achieve our goals. And in that process, we may even achieve something better or more incredible than we initially imagined. Like, the score will take care of itself when you do the work. There's so much pressure and focus on setting ambitious, big goals and going after these giant aspirations. But I'd argue that the best successes come more from focusing on the everyday choices and routines that we build that move us towards those fancy schmancy goals. James Clear, my guy again, says that goals are good for planning your progress and systems are good for actually making that progress. Being able to commit to a process is what makes all the difference. So what does creating systems to support goals actually look like? Let me give you a couple examples of building systems to support, sustain, and ultimately reach your biggest goals. Sometimes stories help nail down this narrative. So up first, okay, so let me kick this off with a quick story. I love stories to just nail down concepts. So I have this friend who is wanting to be less stressed out and to take better care of her body so that she could experience more overall balance and joy, even though she's super busy and constantly has a packed calendar. So she started with something really tiny, like I'm talking really tiny, but she knew that she would be able to commit to this every day. I'm talking about flossing her teeth every night before brushing her teeth. I know it almost sounds silly that flossing could support this larger health/self-care goal, but her aim was to start building a system with something that didn't take a lot of time or attention, didn't add anything to her plate, yet boosted her well-being and her belief in her ability to impact it positively, even in a small way. After going from flossing once, maybe twice a month, she became an everyday flosser, which we all know is actually something to be super proud of once our dentist appointments come around and they ask us that dreaded flossing question. After she mastered that habit, she began slowly infusing a few more small, doable, buildable habits into her routine, like ordering organic groceries, picking one new healthy recipe to cook each week, getting 20 minutes of movement 5 days a week, drinking 64 ounces of water a day. So what began with just flossing daily became a full-on lifestyle. And guess what? She's never felt better or healthier. And it didn't take a scary, massive overhaul to experience that change. Small, subtle shifts and commitments make all the difference. And she built a system she wanted to maintain over time and that she was able to maintain even with a busy lifestyle. If you're ready to start and grow your email list, or your list is already growing and you're fed up with your current provider, you need Flowdesk. Use my link to get half off of your subscription. That's $19 a month for life at jennakutcher.com/Flowdesk. The female founders, Martha and Rebecca, saw all the issues in the email world and decided to do something about it. The result is Flowdesk, an easy to use, intuitive, and beautiful solution to email marketing. I've heard it all before when it comes to starting and growing an email list. No time to learn graphic design. What do you even say to your list? How do I get opt-ins on my site so people even want to join in the first place? I don't have a website, let alone a list. You don't need to learn how to be a copywriter and graphic designer and website developer to start and grow your email list. Flowdesk includes beautifully designed templates, many with pre-written copy that you can use and adapt for your brand's voice. You can create forms and pop-ups for opt-ins even if you don't have a website yet, plus behind-the-scenes insights to track your progress and your email success. You'll have unlimited everything. There's no subscription tier. It's all yours from day one so that you can learn, grow, implement, and market to your list for just $19 a month. No limits, no locked templates, all of the features you need to grow and serve your email list. Your monthly subscription is $19 a month if you sign up at jennakutcher.com/Flowdesk. That's jennakutcher.com/FLODESK. Tell me if this is true for you. Do you believe natural skincare just won't work as well? I used to believe that myth too before I switched my entire skincare routine to Primally Pure. I started to explore the non-toxic line after my miscarriages because I learned that my skin was absorbing everything that I put on it and it was impacting my body on the inside too. Well, I became obsessed with reading labels and consider me a completely converted skeptic and Primally Pure's #1 fangirl. I've been using the Primally Pure Clarifying Serum just 5 to 10 drops a day for a few months and my skin is breaking out less, it's brighter, and it's helping me keep inflammation down. And Primally Pure Cleansing Oil absolutely changed my skin and the way that I thought about skincare in general. Like, it felt counterproductive to cleanse with oil, right? Well, wrong. It actually feels like magic, but really it's non-toxic skincare that not only does the job, it makes my evenings feel like a little spa getaway. For 10% off your order, head to primallypure.com and use the code JK10. That's the code JK10 at primallypure.com. And if you want to learn more about my favorites and how I use them, head to jennakutcher.com/skincare. Here's another example of setting up a system to support your larger goal. If you want to start your own business, that feels like an immense project to take on, especially if you have no entrepreneurship background and you've only ever worked a 9 to 5. Setting up a few milestones is the perfect place to start, like picking a business concept, creating an email list to speak to potential customers, building out your plan for a product or a service that you'll offer to customers. And those things might still feel pretty big though, right? So setting up the system to launch your business looks like taking small steps every day towards an even smaller milestone. So let's say on day 1, you start working towards that first milestone and you make a giant list of all the businesses you could realistically and potentially start. Day 2, you could narrow it down to the top 3 ideas that excite you the most. Days 3 through 10 could be spent surveying your network and friends to see which concept fills a hole or meets a need the best and what people seem most interested in. See how these little steps of action move you forward and toward your goal so much more fluidly and consistently than if you were to just name a big goal and then wonder what's next. Now, last example comes from me and my own team. So a year ago, we didn't even use any sort of project management software, and the team was kind of operating in silos, just owning their own area. And I was stressed because I was always trying to understand where each project was at. And I felt like the team was prone to come to me first with questions or issues versus leaning on one another for support. So my bigger goal was to create and foster a team culture that allowed my team to partner up and work together through big projects. That first meant implementing weekly team calls, which used to be something I refused to do because I hate having things on my calendar. But now it's a highlight of our weeks, and we can look forward to that time to connect and share and collaborate. So much can get accomplished on a call that can free up emails and Slack notifications. Second, I had to adopt a project management software. We went with Monday.com. If you want, you can get a free trial of what we use and love at jennalovesmonday.com. But I had to adopt a system first and make sure it was something that I, as a leader, could stick to. Then we rolled it out for the team to adopt, and voila, all of a sudden I have more peace. Our projects are more organized. The team is more integrated and collaborative. There were so many more benefits that came from implementing this goal and getting this system into my business. And so the outcome is even greater than the original goal. And this system continues to drive results and simplify things for us over and over and over again. Is this starting to click? Can you see how systems can fuel results around your goals and sort of be that gift that keeps on giving? The key to setting up systems is consistency. Your goals won't become realized if you're not constantly taking action every day. But the kicker is that you don't need to have them take over your life. You can spend 30, 15, even 5 minutes a day working towards a big goal and still achieve it. And yeah, it'll take some time, but that's not what matters. Guys, time will pass regardless. What matters is the progress, which builds momentum that feeds your desire to keep going, to keep taking those steps. One thing that helped me to approach goals more holistically was to start thinking of them as a game that I want to continue playing again and again, rather than winning once and then being done. What will be compelling enough to keep me coming back and experimenting and trying and failing, but still be willing to show up in that arena and fight to achieve that thing? Think about this. No matter who you are, the goal of the game is to win, right? So even the losing team has the same goal as the winning team, which makes it even clearer that goals alone aren't the end all be all as much as the system to get there. James Clear explains this exact theory in his book, Atomic Habits. I highly recommend. But he says when we concentrate on the people who end up winning and mistakenly assume that ambitious goals led to their success, we overlook all the people who had that same objective but didn't succeed. If all your hard work is focused on a singular, one-time only goal, what is left to push you to keep going and maintaining that success after you achieve it? Clear says the purpose of setting goals is to win the game. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. When you have systems that work, they become habits with time, and habits sustain something even greater than a one-time achievement, no matter how impressive that goal is. Your systems build a life that allows you to repeat your achievements and build on them and win things even better than you could have ever imagined. And I feel like this is so true for me, and I hope that it is also true for you. People oftentimes get really disciplined and focused for a short while when they have one end goal to work towards, but then they revert back to old habits and old ways after achieving that goal. Systems ensure that you keep progressing and advancing well after the goal has been actualized, and that's so much more worthwhile than a one and done accomplishment. Living a system-oriented life might seem a little too structured or rigid for your taste because, well, sounds like it could be pretty strict, right? Creating systems requires discipline and regularity after all, but if you think about systems as tiny, bite-sized daily action towards a greater mission, it's actually incredibly freeing. Your goals won't take over your life or overwhelm your days with trying to figure out what to do first and then next, but instead your systems will fuel your days with small and doable bits of progress and momentum towards greater success and joy and balance. You'll be able to step towards the future, this better version of you with confidence and knowing that you are building a routine-oriented life that supports growth rather than holding you back. And that's all any of us could hope for out of this life and this journey anyways, right? I hope this view of setting out and achieving your goals gives you this new perspective as we navigate what's left of this year together. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Goal Digger Podcast. Until next time, keep on digging your biggest goals and create those systems that support them. I'm over here giving you a virtual high five because you just finished another episode of the Goal Digger Podcast. Did that go by way too fast for anyone else? If you want more, head over to goaldiggerpodcast.com for show notes and all the discount codes from today's sponsors. And if you're looking for a new crew of movers and shakers like you to bounce ideas and ask questions, be sure to join my exclusive community for Goal Diggers on Facebook. The link's waiting for you at goaldiggerpodcast.com.